Today on the podcast, probably the most common complaint that the women I work with have about the men that they're married to or dating. This is a programming that most men have burned pretty deeply into their psyche. Most of us have been accused of being defensive at some point or another in a relationship. It's a posture that everyone, man or not, deploys sometimes. And it's often for very good reason, right? Defending ourselves is what keeps us safe when we're not. It is literally as innate to being alive as anything else. That's how we stay alive, having an ability to defend ourselves. But the beautiful thing about a romantic relationship is that it will reveal to you exactly where you most need to grow. Because so often in relationships, a threat to our ego feels like an existential threat, which means that anything that might make us have to look at our shortcomings, areas where we still have learning to do, where we're still immature and acting in a way that negatively affects other people, anything that touches on places where we've learned to guard within ourselves. All of it will come to light in a way that is usually totally safe physically, but that feels totally unsafe. This is to say, we often defend ourselves with a nervous system that's lit up to be on guard for physical attack, when really we're being presented with an opportunity to grow from love, to change our behavior so that we can move toward love and feel more connected, which is the whole point of being in a relationship. And this is why defensiveness can be so frustrating for your partner, because our defensiveness tells them that their feelings don't matter. So today on the podcast, why we defend, what it does to our relationships when we do, and how to break the cycle if you're finding yourself in it. Stay with me. This is Reclaiming the Gentle Man. I'm Dave Lashansky. So just to be on the same page, what does this defending strategy really look like in practice? Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine it's a Saturday morning and you're out taking a walk with your partner. You went out the night before, you met up with some friends and had a great time. Or so you thought, until on the walk she brings up something that you did that bothered her. You were talking about your recent vacation that you'd went on, and you mentioned the conversation you'd had about having kids, but she didn't want other people knowing that, and she felt hurt by the way that you talked about it. Now, in this moment, what's happening is that she's telling you about this very specific kind of hurt she's feeling, but instead of pausing to take in what she's saying and accepting that you made a mistake that caused her pain, you think she's blowing something out of proportion. You know your friend won't care about that or think of her any differently. And so you tell her that. It's like, babe, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care what we're planning on. It's not like he's going to tell anyone. Don't worry about it. Now, this is exactly the thing that most guys would do in this situation, especially when we feel certain that she doesn't fully understand something. Before we dig into this, I need to say this. I need to preface all of this with this. You very well may have a point. You may be totally right about what your friend thinks and that it doesn't really matter, that he wouldn't tell anyone, and she really has nothing to worry about. But the whole point of this series is not about proving you wrong about the reasoning you use when you're in an argument. The whole point of this series is to see how we break connection when we default to these patterns and behaviors. Because while you may be completely right, she's less concerned about the outcome you're trying to convince her isn't going to happen. What she's concerned about is how you made her feel. And this is usually the biggest game-changing switch that guys who default to defense can make, right? Is when you recognize how often you're ignoring the feelings she's sharing because you're over-prioritizing the reality that you disagree about. This is really at the core of what defending is all about. It's all about how we see things differently and how her reaction is based on a set of facts and logic that you don't agree with. When the more important reality for your relationship and your ability to be in conflict and in love is that she's not as interested in the logic or the facts when she's having an emotional reaction to something. And this can be really hard for some of us to crack. So I want to give you an analogy that maybe will help. Say you're going to the movies with a friend and you are super excited about it, right? You've been looking forward to this movie for weeks, and when the day comes, you grab your tickets and you're just beyond excited. You get to the theater, you got your popcorn, your drink, the lights go down, and you are transported. Like, it's literally better than you were hoping it would be. And the end of the movie is just this gut-wrenchingly sad, epic series of events. It's like kick you in the pants sad, and you cannot help but cry at it. You're just so moved. The character you love died, or their dog dies, whatever it is. And you're sitting through the credits, just basking in this treasure of a film that has touched your heart, right? It has just moved you. But your friend turns to you and sees you so upset, sees you in this deep experience from having witnessed this movie and says, dude, it's just a movie. Don't cry about this. It's not even real. Now, is he right? Yes. Objectively, he's right. It's a movie. It's not real. Is it nice? Is it helpful of him? No. And it's actually kind of annoying. You're aware that it's a movie, right? But you like engaging with it. You go to the movie to engage with it. You like that it moved you and you feel touched and alive because of it. But your friend is trying to pull you out of that experience, thinking he's helping you, using a set of facts that, while true, isn't really all that kind. This is actually a really useful metaphor for what's happening when we defend inside our relationships. Are our points usually sound? Is what we're saying usually based in reason? Is it defensible? Would it hold up if we were presenting it in an argument to a jury? Yes, usually yes. Honestly, for most men, I'll say the answer is often yes. But the point is that your friend's argument that you don't need to cry was fair too. It was just really out of touch with the experience you wanted to have. You liked being engaged in the movie. Your intention was to enjoy it and to let it move you, like all great art is supposed to do. And when we're in love, we want to trust that our needs matter. Women want to hear that what matters to them is something that we take seriously. That we'll allow that to be more important to us than whatever inside of us disagrees with it. Or even more, whatever inside of us doesn't want to be wrong. And this, now we're really getting to the crux of defensiveness, that when you start to understand it, will completely transform your relationship. Because defensiveness almost always indicates that something inside of us really fears being wrong, being called out, being seen, exposed as a fraud or not good enough or weak. We build walls and moats and protection mechanisms around those parts of us so that nothing can expose them. Because when they're being threatened, it genuinely registers to us as a physical threat. our automatic responses kick in. And usually for a lot of men, that response is logic, the facts we see and lay out before us. Most men, especially as we get older, really strengthen those walls and moats with everything that we do, right? We build entire identities that sometimes are just walls and moats around these parts of us that we fear are not good enough or are weak. And it makes the moments that we're being called forward from behind those walls, when that thing that we did hurt her in a way that would require us to accept that an underdeveloped part of us, or that less considerate than we'd like to admit part of us, has caused harm. And one of the most important things a man with a tendency to defend has to remember is this: that it is okay for you to be unfinished, imperfect, not even good sometimes. And the growth from your relationship will inevitably require that you be man enough to own the parts of you that are not yet finished, that maybe even you don't like, instead of hiding behind the walls you've built to protect them from ever being known or seen. If you think you're someone who does this, which you almost certainly are sometimes, because all of us do this sometimes, there is one practice that I want to leave you with that I think is incredibly effective. And it's this. So the next time she's upset with you about something, and you find yourself wanting to really correct her version of the way things went down, you want to tell her the things she's not getting right about the situation, the facts, instead of blurting them out, instead of interrupting her with them, instead of waiting until she's done and then telling your side of things, practice just letting her finish and saying with genuine tenderness and love a simple phrase: "That must have been really hard for you." Just see what happens. Because what you're doing is allowing her emotional experience to be the most important fact of the situation, which in love, when we care about someone, is often the case. When you can accept that, when you can buy into that, surrender to that even, you are ready to master your conflicts. But it'll take you really noticing and being kind to the parts of you that are terrified of not being good enough, of showing her those parts of you that are underdeveloped, hurt, unknown, unfinished. We all have those parts of us, and just some of us are more conscious of them than others, but a great love will always expose them. So the next time you feel that defensive shield coming online, first just try pausing, listening closely to the feelings you hear her talking about, and relaying back to her with compassion, with tenderness, the very simple phrase, something like, "That must have been really hard for you. Tell me more about it." Just see what happens when you do that. Write to me. I'd love to hear from you. This practice can be magic if you let it, but it does take you pausing when you want to respond automatically, when you feel that rush to defend yourself, that threat to your ego coming up. It's the most important thing you can do, is to get ahead of that. If you're enjoying this series on the patterns that are making our conflicts worse, we got 2 more coming up. But if you want to know what your primary and secondary patterns are, you can go to the link in the show notes and take the free 3-minute assessment that'll help you see some of the really important and powerful skills you can learn to help you address your own tendencies. It's a really cool quiz. I love it. It's powerful stuff. Check it out. The link's in the show notes. Thank you for listening to this episode. Wherever this finds you, I'm wishing you a beautiful day or night. I'll be back in a week.